Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Holy crap! Well, I'm here. How y'all doing? Good damn morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where sometimes all I need is the air I can breathe. I don't know what's going on, man. This is everything that you normally do to fix and troubleshoot things on your computer and with these things just isn't working. Nothing's working. So I might have to go back. I don't know. Anyway, and we had a whole complete show collapse yesterday. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen today. It says connection is excellent. This is better than it was. And it had something to do with that video that I played before the show. It must be, because that's the one thing that's messing up. So we'll figure it out one of these days, and it might just take getting a new computer. I don't know, because this one's, I don't know. This is, I just realized that my daughter's 10-year high school reunion is coming up next year. And I'm like, holy shit, she's been out of school. My kids are old. And I'm like, damn, that means I'm really old. But we already knew that. So anyway. All right, let's get in the show because, of course, we're late as usual. And we want to get enough stuff going that we have enough time for what we're talking about today. Because what we're talking about today is something that I haven't talked about a whole lot. But then these two I shouldn't call them morons. They're not morons. They're just, look, I get it. There's some people being very, 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 very loyal to their friend Nick Rekieta, and I think they're doing it in a wrong-headed manner. Now, if you're not familiar with the Nick Rekieta saga, you may not understand what we're talking about today. We'll try to give you enough details so you know what's up. But we'll do that after we say hi and after a few trending topics. So here we go. First of all, thank you to the people already sharing the stream. What is this? That would be Somnambule Nation and Saint Fugi and Zed the Snarky. I appreciate that. Thank you. If you haven't shared the stream yet, please do so. And I see a lot of you already hit the like button. I appreciate that too. Let's say hi to everybody. First in the chat over in Rumbles, Mr. Avocados Doubly gets the bell. And his own theme music. Also, good morning, Phantom Dog Fart, the greatest name on the internet. And good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. I'm glad to see you. Coke or swinging, just pick one and life is easier. Trying to do both is where people screw up. Well, that's, yes. Look, I'm going to try to be kind because Nick has always been very kind to me. And being a fellow transplanted to Minnesota person, we have a connection, just talking about how things are different from where you came from than when you came from here. But, I also have to think about the children. And so, and just Nick himself. I worry about the dude. He's been, like I said, he's been nice to me. I don't want to disparage him, but I also don't want to enable him. So we'll get to that later. On YouTube, first in the chat, Avocados Diablo also gets the bell. Or should I say gets the bell again? Because, that's how that works. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon. Just missed it by that much. Get smart. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Aaron Meredith. Good morning, Zed the Snarky. Justine Ellison. Yes, it was really quiet here earlier, Justine. It was just because I didn't click the right buttons because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with my programs here. Also, good morning to Kara Soldiers in the house. Good morning, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Good morning, Special Can Acid. Good morning to let's see. I'm trying to find more people. Unacceptable Views. Good morning. How you doing? Let's see. Oh, wait, that scrolled a little quickly there. Good morning. Amazing Disgrace. How sweet the sound. Good morning, Somnambule Nation. I think I already said Somnambule Nation, didn't I? Well, I said thanks for tweeting out the show. Good morning, Somnambule Nation. Willie's in the house. Little Willie won't. No, don't go home. Well, you might be at home for all I know. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian Niagara pony. Hello, C. Thomas Peasant. Oh my gosh, penis. Also, Saint Fugi, what's up? Good morning, Maddie. How you doing? I'm Maddie. We need to talk, dear. I want to know how you're doing, and just maybe we can go meet for brunch someday. Good morning, also to AWOL's in the house. How you doing? And a cast of thousands is rolling in, so hopefully you'll, if you're new, just because you saw the name Rekieta. I don't know. I'm not. Look, let me just get something straight right now. So if you watch this stream on the replay, or you're here just because you saw Rekieta's name, and you're thinking that I, P-Dog Knight, might be grifting off the Rekieta saga, I say to that, what if I am? Now, it's really not. Really, I haven't. Obviously, since I haven't talked about it hardly at all on this show, you would know that I'm not necessarily grifting on the show. But look, if firsthand Nick Rekieta sees this and he goes, "Hey, Marty's streaming about my situation," I would think he would say, if I was grifting off the situation, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, good for you," right? Because Nick's a good guy and he understands that part of the appeal of these types of shows is the fact that you talk about things that some people want to talk about, and maybe some people will come and watch your show because of what you're talking about. So that's why we do this shit. So if I make a couple bucks off of the Rekieta name, which it's not necessarily my goal or my purpose of talk, I want to talk about something stupid Robert Barnes said. And it just happens to be related to the Rekieta story. I haven't really talked about the story that much, even though it's right down the road from me. Okay, so we'll worry about that later. All right, let's get into the show. Good morning, Grillin' Pirate Pete. What's up? Ahoy there. Missed you yesterday. You didn't start at the right time and spent most of the day doing yard work and smoking ribs. Oh, you are right up my alley, brother. I think I saw you put some pictures up the other day of something. But anyway, good morning, Grillin' Pirate Pete. And the show started twice, and both times it was late. Once is because the whole show blew up thanks to whatever happened on my computer here. I do have my cup of reparations coffee in the requisite Minnesotan glass or cup with that representing Prince and Paisley Park. If you ever come to the Twin Cities, Paisley Park is a really cool. They've kind of made it into a Prince museum, and it's a really cool place to go visit. You can see the studios. If you pay extra, you can actually record in the studio. There's a lot of stuff to do there that you'd think at first you go, oh, a Prince museum? That'd be kind of weird. But no, it's actually very cool. They have a lot of the costumes he wore, and a lot of the outfits, and I tell you, the dude was amazing, and he's a Minnesota icon. So I'm very proud to carry the Purple Prince Cup today with these, actually Symbol Man, whatever you want to call that, when he was the name as Formula Prince. Yeah, Barnes is on a blocking spree all over this. Yeah, well, good for him. He can wallow in his loneliness for all I care. But he and Viva. We'll get to that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about what's happening in the world real quick. Some things that are trending on the internet. Again, thank you to people who are tweeting out the show. So let's start with Strong Dad June. I'm going to mention it every day in the month of June. It is Strong Dad June, and I want to just go with this one post related to Strong Dad June today. Again, our friend Ms. Pinkston put this up on the internet, and I think it's very appropriate for Strong Dad June. And it's this quote: "Fun fathers are essential. Regardless of what detractors may claim, strong fathers truly make a difference. They create iconic marriages, children, and families by fulfilling the role that God has entrusted to them, a role that they can only perform." And that's from, Nicole Pinkston, aka Miss Pinky. Copy Strong Dad June. Okay, so anyway, that's I think that's important. Now, All right, looks like we're good. All right, hello everybody. I told you, this is crazy. I don't know what's happening every other day. Maybe some days every day. So, let's get back into the show. How about you? Yeah, I got it. I know there's no audio. You're about 30 seconds behind me. That's because, there you go. All you have to do is recognize the dinosaurs. I know, the freaking dinosaurs. They are just killing me. I don't know what's happening. All right, so I got through Strong Dad June. Let's just move on. I'm just going to go through the hot topics as quickly as possible. Alex Jones is trending. Let me fix. Oh, God, I have to redo all of this crap now. See, every time. Okay, there we go. All right. Alex Jones is trending because apparently he's about to lose the farm, so to speak. But Alex Jones posted this 11 hours ago saying, breaking, Democrats admit plan to close InfoWars on June 14th. Now, he put up some paper and did a 19-minute video on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and it will be in the links today. But I'm not going to go through this. But Alex Jones is still trending basically because he's in bankruptcy. And what's interesting is, so in Texas, I guess they have a certain person, I can't think of what it is, that handles the bankruptcy. They're supposed to, like, this person without a court order came out and started locking up, requiring they lock up Alex Jones Studios. The part where he's upset, because I didn't play this yesterday. Here we go. Here's the part where Alex Jones, he explains what's happening here on this clip. All right, here we go.
I've been under attack. I've been gaslit. I've had secret federal filings filed on me that I'm committing crimes, referred to the Justice Department, which of course wasn't true. We'd already filed it in federal court months before. They didn't even check this shit. If you're gonna fucking frame somebody and fucking lie about them to goddamn federal court with the fucking know it's already filed in the goddamn court, you bastard. So fuck you. And fuck anybody else that tries to go on with your shit. You want fucking war, you fucking got it. I told you one more fucking lie and I was gonna do this, all right? I tried to sustain this place. I didn't believe America was as corrupt as this. I didn't believe we were this fucked, and we are this fucked. This country is administratively got a bunch of scum in charge of it. And that's why it's going down the tubes, and America and the whole world sees it. So you misjudged who I am, and any of your minions misjudged who I am.
Okay, this isn't the part where he cries, I guess. This is the one where he's angry.
So go ahead. Try to jerk off some operation to shut the doors here and do that and prove everything I said. It doesn't matter. And I don't sit there and make threats. I make promises. I haven't had time to dig it out of my phone. But I will. And you will, at the end of the day, know that Alex Jones, the American patriot, defeated your evil ass. You guys want to comment?
Well, all right, I'm going to leave it at that. So, instead of talking about eating ass, Alex Jones is planning on defeating their ass. Well, so just, you know what? Go for it, Alex. I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but I'm not a detractor either. He is what he is. He's a broadcaster. He does his thing. And he's been right more than wrong most of the time. So, what are you going to do? You guys want to comment? Yeah. Yeah, Alex, go beat their ass. All right, moving on. Anthony Fauci is trending along with COVID and Congress and Wuhan and all kinds of things related to Anthony Fauci. Apparently, Anthony Fauci decided to go well, he didn't decide. They called on him to testify before Congress. And there's some clips out here, and Anthony Fauci, he's a lying prick. But let's see. Here's one of the people talking. That's 6 minutes. I'm not doing 6 minutes of Anthony Fauci. Let me find a shorter clip of something. Why am I freezing here again? It's you know what? Okay, so there's all kinds of video of his testimony, but I have one piece of the testimony that I think is very important because of the visuals that are going on behind Anthony Fauci while he is talking to Congress. Because, I could talk about the substantive stuff, but this is way more important. And so we'll just take a chuckle of this. I'll leave the tab open. All kinds of clips of testimony with the Democrats basically giving him Tate scrubs with their tongues while the Republicans actually asked real questions. But this is the guy that you have to see during the testimony. This is the most important part of Anthony Fauci's testimony is this guy. Here we go.
Emails, texts, letters of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals. And credible death threats means someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time. It is very troublesome to me. It is much more troublesome because they've involved my wife and my 3 daughters.
Poor Dr. Fauci.
At these moments, how do you feel?
How do you feel? Oh, gosh, such a hard-hitting question.
Terrible.
Such a hard-hitting question.
Do you continue to receive threats today?
Oh,
yes, I do.
Yes.
Every time.
By the way, I just saw a new name here. Hello, 200 Watt Studio. That's not a new name, but it's nice to have you back. And I'm glad you were here to note that there was no sound. Someone named 200 Watt Studio would know all about sound, and I'm glad I was able to fix that just for you. So anyway, this dude's back there making faces
gets up
while on
and
camera.
says I'm responsible for the death of people throughout the world.
Oh, you kind of
threats
are.
go up.
You kind of probably could be, to be honest with you. So anyway, like I said, there is so much testimony out here in these links. So I'm going to leave this link open today about his testimony in front of Congress. And again, Congress is trending because of it. And again, they are featuring this guy again. This guy is going to be a legend. Who is this absolute legend? Is sitting behind Dr. Fauci. Now, also the camera framing behind his back was kind of weird. Like someone taking the picture of the back of his head. But Anthony Fauci and his decades of lying and deceit have come to I can't say that word. Ignominious? I don't know. And for those few in denial and still trying to defend Fauci's crimes against the American people, you're a lost person caught in the cult of ideology, or you're a current Democrat member of Congress. I wish this clip that Kim.com put up here is 6 minutes of basically someone explaining the whole situation with Dr. Fauci. But we've talked enough about Dr. Fauci on this show, so I'm not going there. This show is for one thing and one thing only. So let's go through the rest of the trending topics. So we got COVID. Oh, Pride is trending. Pride. Now, I don't know why Pride is trending. I'm thinking maybe someone's thinking of U2 songs or something, because it's Strong Dad June. And I take great pride in being a strong dad and a good father, or as much ignominious. Ignominious. I don't know if that's right. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, but the word pride is trending. And I was thinking maybe... Now, there's a couple things about this that I was going to bring up. First of all, there's a bar in Idaho that is a little bit under fire. And I don't mean on fire like, Chicago and Mrs. What's-Her-Name's cow. But a bar in Idaho is getting scrutiny because they are having Heterosexual Awesomeness Month. And there you go. So here it is. I should take the music off here. A bar in Idaho is facing criticism for celebrating Heterosexual Awesomeness Month. Did they? They haven't watched WorldNet Daily's exclusive interview with Old State Saloon owner Mark Fitzpatrick. Does this still have video?
Mark Fitzpatrick.
Okay, here we go.
Owner of Old State Saloon in Eagle, Idaho. Our saloon has become the heterosexual headquarters. We launched Heterosexual Awesomeness Month for June. Monday is Heterosexual Male Monday. And if you're a heterosexual male and you come in here, you get a beer for free. There's no string.
Now, okay. Now, I'm look, and I think this is a funny idea, and I think some bars could get away with this. And the fact that people get pissed off that someone does this, it kind of pisses me off because, you know, you have a whole month and, well, actually you have like 3 months and you got 40 holidays and you got weeks and all kinds of things all throughout the year, pretty much every month that you got to remind us that someone's gay, bi, you know, lesbian or trans awareness or trans visibility or this and that and the other, right? So a bar in Idaho, you know, some white dude saying that you're having heterosexual awesomeness month, ham, yes, is, you know, should be just okay, right? Yes, that's awesome. You have got exactly what I was thinking here. When the guy starts talking and you say heterosexual awesomeness month, that does sound kind of gay. And because this guy, okay, because, you know, and listen to his voice again.
Heterosexual Awesomeness Month for June.
I mean,
Monday is Heterosexual Male Monday.
Okay, so it's Heterosexual Male Monday. Now, there's a big old moose in the back, and it's a male moose, but I don't know if that means anything. But anyway, so you got the guy saying it's heterosexual male Mondays where all the heterosexual men can come in. It just reminds me of that video where the guy is saying, I have sex with men, but I am, you know, in love with women, and so I'm not gay. And Ice-T says, "You're gay." Excuse me, you're gay. And so bring in all the heterosexual men on Monday and get a free beer. I mean, what's that mean? That's really weird to me. Like, okay, hello, Hotep Dutch is in the house. How you doing, brother? Nice to have you here. Whoops, that was dirty. I don't know. And Rod Line, how you doing? Tyler F, I see y'all coming in here.
And if you're a heterosexual male,
so if you're a heterosexual and come in here and you get a beer, that sounds like some grooming to me. I don't know. You know, is it just me?
There's no strings attached.
No strings attached? Really? You're not required to give or get? Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Call it Beers for Breeders. Wednesday,
Beers
if
for
you're
Breeders.
a heterosexual couple, you get 15% off your entire bill. And on Thursdays, all day is Her Hetero Happy Hour. So heterosexual awesomeness is basically an opportunity to celebrate God's design for man and woman and that sexual attraction between them. Idaho's the reddest state in the country, as you know. We've got so many people here who are like-minded and who want to do what's right. They want to do what's moral. I think that this country is ready to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. Let's stand for things that are right.
Well, look, and when I say enough is enough, it's like, look, do we need to have a special holiday every month for people who are talking about who they're sleeping with or who they're fucking or if they think they're something other than they think? Now, or than they are, whatever. Now, apparently, too, now, I don't know exactly what this footage is, but the Pride Parade, or is this the Pride, let's see, Philadelphia Pride Parade in Philly didn't go so well, and I just noticed this clip here, too. Apparently, things didn't really work out in the Philadelphia Pride Parade. Here's a clip of that. Apparently, there's some fights broke out, and I don't know. Okay, that's... So apparently, I don't know what's going on. Now, remember, it is Philly. So, I mean, it's a city of brotherly love and fisticuffs. Because I don't know what happened in the Philadelphia Pride Parade, but it ended in violence. And let's see, and the FBI. This is going to piss off some people. The FBI just deleted their Pride post. Now, this is what they had originally put up on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, saying, at the FBI, we know that diversity makes us stronger. Really? Why? Why? Does diversity itself make you stronger? Why? Now, if you happen to have diverse staff and whatever because they have great qualifications and they can whoop ass and do whatever and investigate and sniff out, you know, about cocaine in Minnesota lawyers' bathrooms. Yeah, that's great. If diversity happens, that's great. But why does diversity in itself make you stronger? I've never understood that phrase. As a person who, as I enter the room, makes it more diverse. Why does diversity in itself make you stronger? Anyway, it says, this is the thing they took down. At the FBI, we know that diversity makes us stronger. During Pride Month, the FBI celebrates our LGBTQIA+, you know that acronym is going to get longer and longer and longer, colleagues' contributions to our country and our mission. Really, what's your mission? Like, not missionary. Learn more about the Bureau's diversity and inclusion initiatives. Well, I don't care, because I don't want. Well, first of all, fuck the FBI. But anyway, and then apparently that post went away. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be this. The post has been deleted. You can't even see that anyway because I've screwed up. It didn't work. There you go. The post has been deleted. We don't know why. So anyway, they took it down. I'm wondering, because like, you know how basically during the month of June, every company and every government division and everything that has to worry about people being mad at them decides they're gay and they put rainbows on everything. Are people other than me getting tired of that? I'm pretty sure it is. Now, and this is another one. No more. I'm done. I'm done with pride stuff because you know what? It's Strong Dad June. Why do I give a shit about pride other than the pride of being a strong dad during Strong Dad June? Moving on, the WNBA is trending still. Hello, Nomad. I see you.
Stop. Hammer time.
And Tex AG 007. The FBI is the owner of the world's largest kiddie porn collection. Oh, good God. I accidentally said that out loud because you wrote it. Holy shit. Okay. The WNBA is still trending, and mainly because they're all still talking about Caitlin Clark, but also there's a young lady named Angel Reese. Now, Angel Reese is also a very good basketball player. It was a college national champion at LSU, and she had some things to say that I found, well, really, really kind of interesting. Okay. And now, and again, we don't like to talk about sports on this channel a whole lot, but she was making a comment about all this controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark. Hello, Darren Root. Who was arrested this time? No, I don't know. Nobody at that Philadelphia Pride Parade, apparently. So Angel Reese decided to, at a press conference, she decided to say this. Okay. She decided to say this because, in fact, we mentioned this yesterday. Very good basketball player. Is it ambiguous term? Okay, a very good women's NCAA basketball player, okay, because relative to the sport she plays. Anyway, she decided to say this. This was interesting. Here, I'll make it bigger, full screen here so you can see her a little better, even though I don't know what your screen looks like. Here we go. Here's Angel Reese talking about her experience and the popularity of the women's basketball game.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have...
She's talking about Caitlin Clark and things that have happened, whatever.
Probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball.
Now, they're talking about women's basketball because, think about it. Why are they talking about women's basketball? Because... Well, I'll let her finish. Angel, I'm going to let you finish. In the immortal words of Kanye West.
People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas. Like, just because...
Sold out arenas? Yeah. No. Okay, I'm going to go. Here we go.
One single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my...
Because apparently she became, after their junior year, and she and Caitlin Clark had their little thing in the middle of the court. She became the bad guy in this. And I don't necessarily think she was the bad guy. I think they're both just competitive, and they're friendly to each other in real life because they've been playing against each other since they were in 5th grade in AAU tournaments. But in this whole thing, somehow Angel Reese, for some people, has become the bad guy. Some people think Caitlin Clark's a bad guy. Some people think whatever. There's a big rivalry, which whatever. But it's the other statement she made. Wait a minute, let me finish here.
And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It also.
Okay, so now let's do just a tiny bit of analysis of this. First of all, and I made this point to a coworker of mine this morning because we were talking about this. If Angel Reese had not been the nemesis player in the national championship game last year, playing against Caitlin Clark, would any of you have known her name? Or would any of the casual, even basketball fan, know her name? Abso-fucking-lutely not. No, Reese, R-E-E-S-E. Sorry, I forgot to see how. No one would know her name. Nobody would care. And even now, the WNBA, because people are bad because Asia Wilson, is that her name? Asia Wilson, who's the star player for the Las Vegas Aces, supposedly the greatest player in the WNBA as we speak. No one knows who she is because people are mad because Caitlin Clark got a shoe deal, a $20 million shoe deal from Nike. Well, look, Caitlin Clark's name is bigger than Asia Wilson's. Why? Because she played at a basketball team in the Big Ten that was successful. And so in all those major markets that the Big Ten plays in, because the Big Ten is very strategic in how they've added teams to their, not Asia Carrera, stop it, Rod. Very strategic about how they added teams to their conference by seeking out teams in major media markets. That's why they added Rutgers, so they could get the New York area, New York, New Jersey area. They already have Philadelphia with Penn State. They added Maryland, so they could get the Washington D.C. market. They have Northwestern, and the University of Illinois gets the Chicagoland market. And then what's the other one? There's another big one that they're in. I mean, Indianapolis is not as big. But anyway, now they're going to have USC and UCLA, so that the Los Angeles market, any big-time player who plays in the Big Ten is going to get massive national coverage just because of where they play. Now, here's the other thing she said. She said, well, the attention to the WNBA and women's basketball is not just because of Caitlin Clark. It's also because of me, because, I'm supposedly her rival. Again, nobody would know your name if you didn't play the national championship game against her. But let's take another little analysis that this person put together. Here it is. This non-Caitlin Clark WNBA games this past weekend. Here's the attendance at those games. Now this attendance is up, although 7,600 something, 4,000 some, almost 10,000 here, 9,800, 7,000 here, 3,265 at this game, 10,207, 7,024, right? Those are the games that did not include Caitlin Clark. Attendance at Caitlin Clark WNBA games this past weekend, 17,000 at both games. Now, were they home games in Indiana? I don't know. But I guarantee you that every game that Caitlin Clark plays in right now gets that type of attendance. It is absolutely her. And everyone's talking about her. All of this is in reference to her. And that's the only reason people are talking. That's the only reason I'm talking about the WNBA. Is because of the delusions of the other players who think that, oh yes, all these people are coming to watch games because Angel Reese is playing now. No, they're not. All right, let's move on now. So that was Angel Reese. First take is Well, I'm going to skip this because I want to get into the Rekieta stuff. So let's just move on. But Stephen A. Smith, I don't want this to be a sports show, but everything's sports related. Apparently there's somebody named Monica McNutt. No, there's another person, Monica McNutt, who apparently is somebody that Stephen A. Smith had some words with. Okay, here it is. They're talking about the WNBA, I guess, and Stephen A. Smith. I guess I'm gonna talk about this. Stephen A. Smith had this exchange, or this woman right here named Monica McNutt had this exchange with Stephen A. Smith. I'll make it so I can see it. What the hell is this freezing again? Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Here it is.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So this is what I'm saying to y'all, though, and I know we got to go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there, and maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed.
Again, they're talking about the WNBA.
No. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are going to say and Stephen A., I know you just shared that you have talked about the WNBA on your program, too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the
Okay, what the hell is
women
happening?
of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Kayla Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations. Kennedy Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still talking about competition where you are allowed to get a little extra elbow in if you are competing and you do it within the parameters of the game. The game is physical. Caitlin is helping to grow the league. These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right. Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted.
Nobody cares about the WNBA. You could have been doing this 3 years ago. Nobody cares about the WNBA. Look, it probably has its saturation point right now of how many fans are going to show up for WNBA games, even with Caitlin Clark. As I predicted, when Caitlin Clark joined the league, I said, you know what? There's going to be some hype for a few months. Maybe she'll live up to her standard, which she's doing pretty good. She's about 15. She's 15th in the league in scoring right now. But anyway, but once that hype's over, nobody cares about the WNBA in the long run. That's the problem. Nobody enjoys watching. I don't want to call it substandard. It's the best women's basketball probably in the world or close to it. But it's substandard when it comes to basketball. And what's interesting, not all women's sports are like that. Like tennis, women's tennis is interesting because it's still the same game and it looks the same, even though the men's game is so much faster. It kind of looks the same. Women's volleyball, well, the people watch for alternative reasons, but you know what I mean? So now, the controversy here, though, is Stephen Smith is saying that...
I heard of Monica McNutt.
No. Now, tell me if he's telling the truth right here, okay? Tell me if Stephen A. Smith is telling the truth in this statement right here, talking about Monica McNutt.
You ever heard of Monica McNutt?
Have you ever heard of Monica McNutt?
You have now.
Why?
She's on First Take a lot.
Why?
Shanae Ogumake, absolutely wonderful, spectacular basketball analyst, et cetera, WNBA player in her own right.
Have you ever heard of them?
To be on First Take. How about Andrea Carter, who's a rising star in this business? How much do you think First Take helped that? What about Kimberly Martin?
Don't know.
What about
I don't know
Molly
any of their
Qerim
names.
herself?
I don't know any of these names. And if they didn't get in an argument with Stephen A. Smith on First Take or whatever his show's called, I wouldn't know any of their names anyway. They might be he goes on and on. I'm not going to go through it. But people are saying like, oh my gosh, Monica McNutt was this and that, and she was a great player at Georgetown, blah, 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 blah. She was, great player in the WNBA. I still never heard of her. She's an analyst sometimes for the New York Knicks. I still never heard of her because I'm not in the Knicks market, so I don't care. I'm sorry if not everyone wants to watch the fucking WNBA. Okay? But it's just a fact. Unless you are a basketball junkie or you like to watch women play basketball, you are not going to go watch the WNBA on purpose unless the team in your town is in the playoffs headed for the championship. Then you might show up out of curiosity. But it is not the same as watching the NBA by a long shot. It's not the same as watching men's college basketball by a long shot. It's not even the same as watching women's college basketball by a long shot because there's built-in audiences that make that game more exciting. Whether the gameplay is as good as the WNBA or not. It's not as good a basketball as watching a high school-aged AAU game of boys. Far more athletic, far better players. I guarantee you there's not a WNBA team in the country that could beat even maybe a boys state championship basketball team or a top AAU team. In fact, maybe not even a top 15U AAU team. And people recognize that when they go and watch the games, unless you can appreciate it for what it's worth, it's not the best brand of basketball. Now, if you can appreciate it for what it's worth, it can be entertaining because you're rooting for the teams to win. You're watching the strategy of the game. You enjoy that part of the game. But if you're looking to be wowed, it ain't happening. Done with that topic. Sorry, I didn't mean to go into it that deeply. All right, I got a super chat from Cryptic. Thank you, sir. Nice to have you here, Cryptic. Good to have you. And nope, that wasn't through Streamlabs. So I can't do the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. But thank you for sponsoring the show, Cryptic. Oh my God, Darren Root. Could they bust McNutt? Okay, let's not go there. Cryptic with a 5-spot through YouTube super chat says Wambulance National Biatch League. I'm going to try to say that. Wambulance National Biatch League is only relevant because of Caitlin Clark. Well, yes and no. I mean, it's funny because there's always some college star. Think about it. How many different college women's basketball stars who made a big name for themselves in the NCAA tournament or playing for UConn or whatever ended up in the WNBA? Has that brought a whole slew of fans to the WNBA in the long run, long term? No, they've had almost 30 years of the WNBA and they still can't get an average of more than 7,000 or 8,000 per game, attendance per game. I mean, granted, the Las Vegas Aces averaged like 16,000 last year at top of the league, or 17,000, but they were the top team in the league. Just like when the Minnesota Lynx were, winning 4 WNBA championships, they were averaging probably over 10, 12,000 a game. But that's because they were winning. The Indiana, whatever the team that Caitlin Clark plays for, that drafted her, last year they averaged 3,000 attendance. 3,000 people in attendance for a professional sports team playing in an arena that probably holds 10. There are a lot of people in those crowds dressed up as empty seats. I'm just saying. All right. Thank you, Cryptic, very much. All right. Let's get into this Rekieta thing because now I need to tell you my personal experience with Nick Rekieta, okay? I've been watching his show for Selected Boys in the House.
Yeah, boy.
I've been watching Nick Rekieta probably 2 or 3 years. Someone mentioned, hey, go check this guy out, and I thought he was interesting. I thought he was interesting as a legal analyst on the internet, like small town lawyer talking about legal stuff. And then not long after I started watching him, who was it? Kyle Rittenhouse trial came up. Watched that every day on replays and watched that entire trial, and that was fun. And that's kind of where Rekieta basically doubled his audience and was killing it with super chats and all that stuff. Fun format, right? And then I kept watching, and then the Johnny Depp trial, he did that, and there was then LawTube started splintering off after that because some of them wanted, well, we want to split up who does what, and like, no, just do your thing, and next week whatever. And then I thought, okay, that'd be cool to have Nick on my show, and we just talk about him and his experience in Minnesota, not necessarily talk about law stuff. And we had a great time when he was on my show. Okay. And he said, yeah, Mel, after that, maybe, I'll have you on sometime. And if I'm ever in town, we'll go out to dinner, whatever, with my wife, which, if they're ever in town doing something, we'll go out to dinner. That didn't happen. But I had invited Nick on my show again, and was going to take him up on his offer. And Nick's, as popular as he got so fast, like doubling an audience at once, probably was a big burden on him, right? And so I thought, maybe he doesn't he'll respond like once, but then not respond again for like a month, for another month, and then he'll respond again. And so scheduling something with him was crazy. And I thought, man, I don't know if this is just he's not real detail oriented or whatever. But I thought maybe or maybe I thought he's blowing him up. I'm small potatoes when it comes to this internet shit. But a weeks, about 3 weeks ago, I sent him a text because I have his phone number. I sent him a text saying, hey, hey, let's do that show thing we talked about. You can either come on my show, or I can, come on one of your Friday night shows, because I can't do weeknight shows with him because he's, he streams way late in the night. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. What are you thinking? And then I sent him a text of what I was thinking, and he never responded again. I was like, oh, that's pretty typical. So I'm used to him, respond once, but then not respond again for a long time. And then I am at home. I don't remember what I was doing. I was on X. And I saw some tweet about Nick Rekieta being arrested. I'm like, what? Wait, is this real? Or somebody just trolling? And as you know, the reports came out that, some people at his church had noticed some things about what was going on with his children. He has 5 kids and his wife Kayla, and some people at church were like, yeah, the kids seem, coming around in dirty clothes, and they kind of smell. The hygiene's not great, and there's some weird stuff going on with him and that woman over there that they brought to church with him, because he was bringing this April woman to church. And they notified the pastor, priest, whatever. I'm not sure what the denomination they are. And priests, pastors, whatever, are basically mandatory reporters, basically. And so the priest, based on what 4 different people told him at 4 different times, said that they probably should do a check on this family, that there's something concerning here. And so he brought it to the attention of the local police, sheriffs, whatever. And the sheriff began kind of investigating, just watching Nick's show, watching other people's show, and there was enough, circumstantial stuff to actually get a warrant to go search their house, because there were people on the internet talking about doing drugs at Nick's house. There was people talking about, between that and the I'm going to put neglect in quotes, because I'm not going to say that they necessarily were neglecting their kids, but it seems very much that they were. There was enough to get a warrant to search their home. So the warrant was served. They went in, found lots of cocaine, found a gun, found drug paraphernalia, and many concerning things. So, as you know, Nick and his wife and this April woman who was with them, was married to another man, but they're officially divorced now, all got put in the slammer. The kids were taken to the grandparents' house, and these arrested for drug possession of a weapon with illegal drugs, and various other infractions. Right? What? What's this? Nick does drugs? What? So anyway, so as you know, and if you've watched other people talk about this, many different of the so-called Law 2 community, many of the people that Nick brought in during the Rittenhouse trial, who were all friends and kind of chummy, and yet they were all their own separate entities, have been coming with a variety of either, how do I put this? Some defending Nick, some angry with Nick, some concerned about Nick, but some various opinions on the arrest, the warrant, and everything that's been coming out into the public. Now, there's the warrants come out in public, the arrest record coming out in public. Now, apparently the body cam footage is public. All this stuff is public now. We know that the house was in, quote, disarray. We don't know what disarray means. We know there were drugs found in the house. We know there are drug paraphernalia in the house. We know from stream now, we look at Nick and we see that over the last 2 years, Nick has lost a ton of weight and he just looks terrible. And he got, oh, by the way, there was one stream where he left the stream for about 45 minutes and then came back and he was just shit-faced or whatever. And apparently he was masturbating on the stream. Now, you could, thank goodness there wasn't no body part showing, but you could tell that he was fucked up and forgot that he had a camera on and whatever. So anyway, there's plenty of evidence that at least something terrible was going on, right? Now, as I have been watching reactions, and I've kind of avoided this topic for a while, just because I'm friendly with Nick. I met him when they did this comedy show. I met him out there, and Kayla and Nick were cool to me. But I'm also very concerned. It's fucked up, and I think Nick knows it's fucked up, but he seems to be in denial. And I'm going to give you one take. I'm going to start with one take here that pretty much, as I watch this, I said, this is exactly what I'm thinking. Now, he does stream with a gentleman named Camelot. Camelot's a NASCAR driver and also does streams on YouTube. And this take by Camelot and this person who says, well, let me give you the setup here that this person tweeted. As the brother of an addict, this is the truth. Have to be brutally honest. Some people can handle casual drugs, even in mass quantities. Some people are addicts. Which is Nick? His streams over the past 6 months should be obvious. Because a lot of people, I noticed also the last few months that a lot of people were on Twitter were like, yeah, Nick's really, this is something weird going on. There's something really bad going on. He's, and I don't know. When you're watching him on a regular basis, all these changes are so gradual that you don't necessarily notice until someone points them out. And then I go look at streams from, a month ago versus a stream 2 years ago and how this has basically destroyed Nick's body. He's lost so much weight and he doesn't have a whole lot of weight to lose. But here's Camelot's take, and I think this is a very smart take. Here we go.
Here's why I decided to do this show today. It was actually this morning when I decided to do this show. I see a lot of people that I care about, and it's totally their right to do so. But I see a lot of people I care about overtly defending Nick on Twitter. Just fucking all day, man. Like, just every tweet fucking defending Nick. And that's great. But in doing so, I'm afraid my friend is going to die. And that's the cold, hard truth. When I see people overtly defending this situation, I see my friend dying. Because you're validating these choices that were made that I have disagreed with for so fucking long now.
Now, I gotta stop there. I'm curious. When he says I've disagreed with for so fucking long, I want to know how long Camelot's known about this, for one. Now, I am not disparaging Camelot. I'm not saying that he's ever been involved with any of it, but when he says things are so fucking long, I wonder. But the point he made, though, is there's a lot of people out on the internet, ride or die, defending Nick, saying, oh, probably the search warrant was bad and this is that. And it doesn't seem like from their areas of expertise. And that brings me to Robert Barnes. But my concern for Nick is that he and his wife and his 5 kids end up in a safe situation. And, in Minnesota, it's not, look, Minnesota is not the state where they're going to try to put some people in jail for drug use, but they're certainly going to ask, they want to do, they're going to want some sort of intervention that stops the drug use and the ability to use drugs. Now, a couple things too, there's some developments in this. Nick, first of all, this April Inhofe, which was the third party who apparently they were swinging with this couple, and then the Aaron, who does the Steel Toe Morning Show, if you're not familiar with that, he got his ass out of it. He's like, this is not cool. I got to go. And this is, it was becoming the downfall of his marriage. April, his wife, moved in with them, was kind of supposedly their live-in nanny, but she was also doing drugs with them. But they all got released, and her charges were dropped, but Nick and Kayla's were not. And in Minnesota, if they let you out on your own cognizance, usually these stipulations are that you do regular drug testings, you can't drink alcohol, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't have firearms, blah, 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 right? But if you post bail, which in both their cases was $50,000, then you are not restricted from drinking, at least. I don't know. Obviously, illegal drugs are illegal drugs either way, but you don't get the checks. And when they first got out, initially, Nick paid his bail, but Kayla didn't, his wife. She didn't. And just recently, now, also, they've paid her bail. Now, I don't know if Nick instituted that or not. How about watch Barnes & Noble's whole take of this? Adam Smith, I'm glad you're here, because I don't think Barnes' take is 100% correct. And I did watch his entire take on it. Okay, so basically what Barnes did is he went through the search warrant request with a judge. He went through the entire request for a search warrant. And what Barnes did is he took every single item in there that was a concern and treated them as they were all individual concerns. Like, if there's this element, well, that's not probable cause. Okay. Or if there's this element, that's not probable cause. And everything, he went through the entire search warrant, right? The request, the search warrant application. And every time he came to every single point by itself certainly would not be probable cause. But what he failed to do as a lawyer, and I've watched many different lawyers analyze this, and I read it before I listened to the lawyers. And I'm looking at this, it's like, well, sure, no. Kids being smelly and not having their clothes clean by itself is not probable cause, okay? But when you combine that with these streams where Nick is wasted out of his mind, the one stream where he come back where there's powder on his nose, the one where he gets a nosebleed, the one where Aaron Inhofe's talking about doing coke and Molly at their house, the 4 different people at the church noticing that their kids didn't have clean clothes, and all these other things, the stream where he said he was shooting was it raccoons, or I don't know, what was it, possum or whatever, he was shooting from his house. All of these things as a whole, remember, you don't have to prove the case to get a search warrant. All you need is probable cause. If you put them all together, then that is probable cause for a search warrant. But of course, each one just as a single point may not be probable cause. So that's where I think that was the flaw in his analysis of it. Of course, now remember too, Robert Barnes is a defense attorney, right? He's a defense lawyer. So it's his job to pick things apart as a defense attorney. But I think he is wrong, even as a layman. I get nicknamed lawyer dog, but I'm not a lawyer. But even as a layman, I'm like, well, no, of course, all those things as individual points aren't going to be probable cause. But if you combine them, then they are absolutely probable cause. He's all allowed on this because others on LawTube are intentionally misleading the public, which would allow easier deprivation rights. No, not at all. He since looked at Minnesota law, case law, suspected users specifically are not grounds for a warrant. Again, it wasn't just that though. There were multiple things. And I don't, it's funny because there's theories out there now that, oh, the government's just trying to get Nick. I don't think so. But Adam, I appreciate that you're here because I want people who disagree with me here. I don't see it. When you put everything you put everything together, there's enough for a probable cause, especially when there's children in the home. Okay. So it's and whether I guess I would have to look at Minnesota case law when they talk about what children in the home, because currently certainly if he was lived by himself, because again it's not just a drug charge, it's a child endangerment charge also. Name all the things you want. Okay, so Adam, answer me this. What would amount to probable cause for a search warrant? Okay. And again, I'm telling you, I'm not anti-Nick by any stretch of the imagination. I am a fellow outsider transplant to Minnesota who's had Nick on my show and spent time with Nick. And I think he's a good guy, and I want him to come out of this better than, I would love to have him triumph out of this better than he is now, which I think is pretty damn good streamer, and he's fun to watch, and he's a good guy to talk to, and I look forward to hopefully going on his show whenever whenever we can schedule it, and him coming back on mine again. So, I think it's very sad what happened to him. So anyway, so let's get now. But speaking of Robert Barnes, because that's what the show's about today, and Robert's going into air, and I respect Robert Barnes as an attorney, but now I'm kind of concerned or just wondering what exactly is going on with him. And this is, and I think he's getting a little unhinged. He's going on a blogging spree because he doesn't. Anyone who disagrees with him on this, and I get it. Robert is very good friends with Nick, and Viva is very good friends with Nick, and so and also I don't know. I doubt some people are saying, "Oh yeah, they're contract with Rumbles. They can't disparage another Rumble person." I don't buy all that. I think this is just a case of Robert, basically ride or die with Nick, and fortunately, the fact that the warrant was correct. And now we're seeing evidence of other things that, you go, oh, that probably shouldn't happen, and that probably shouldn't happen, and whatever. It kind of validates the warrant itself. But again, as some people say, well, maybe those aren't enough for probable cause to even have gotten the warrant in the first place. I guess we'll find out, because I'm sure that'll come up as this case evolves. But Robert's kind of, his ride or die is starting to look like, let's just say the word unhinged. Okay. And here's an example, because I saw this. In fact, this is the first I saw this. I saw this morning, And I was like, are you serious, Robert? I mean, you can't have a difference of an opinion with people? Listen to this.
There's two holy books to me, the Holy Bible and the Constitution of the United States.
Okay, and you are correct. Great, Robert. Where are you going with this?
That's what I'm loyal to. The second,
well, you're loyal to Nick no matter what. And look, I'm loyal to Nick no matter what. But maybe my loyalty to Nick is a little bit different than yours. Mine is 26 grams of coke in the house probably is not a cool thing. And I hope that you guys, if you have a problem with these substances, that you can get through it and not have a problem with these substances, and maybe just not have these substances, period, and that you and your family are safe and your kids are safe and you live a bountiful life. That's my loyalty to Nick. And if it takes having an awful lesson learned from this experience, well, maybe that's valuable. I don't know. So, but again, Robert's told you about his holy books and his loyalties.
second thing I'm loyal to is I am loyal to people. I believe in loyalty.
I do too, Robert. But your version of loyalty seems to be a little different than mine. But let's just listen.
On Sunday going in, I'd seen that a lot of LawTube was, to me, virtue signaling how they really weren't grifting off Rekieta.
Okay. So he's bringing up the issue of grifting. I'm pretty sure that Nick himself would say if a topic came up like this about another law tuber or friend or whatever, that they would still stream about it. And grifting, they're just doing what they do on the internet. And by the way, Robert Barnes is streaming off this. Now, whether or not he's monetizing it, in theory, okay, whether you monetize something or not, you're still gaining attention. Again, and someone made the point this morning. I was listening to somebody else, and they said, yeah, maybe they just tried to get, maybe Rekieta's, what do they call them? Money pigs, whatever. Maybe they're trying to win over some of the money pigs to them too for future use. I don't know.
Problems he currently faces, but I was like, But the fact that they're knifing a person that many of these people, no one would know about, and they wouldn't be making.
Wait, now are they knifing him? Or are they just giving their own legal analysis? I've listened to Pay Pigs. Yeah, thank you, Zed. Are they knifing him in the back? Or are they just giving the legal analysis? I've watched some of these people. Now, some people are mad because of the situation. It's like you got 5 kids, you got 25 grams of coke in the house. Whether or not the warrant's good or not, that's not a good thing. And I hope that, again, as someone who's friendly with Nick, I would say, fix that. Fix that. It's not knifing in the back by being honest about your legal opinion about something.
Making any money but for Rekieta was like, wow.
Yes, Nick Rekieta has made some of those people more successful. Legal Mindset in particular. Even Robert Barnes in particular. Viva is already very well known. I know that. I know Nate the lawyer was already pretty big. He was growing fast on his own. There's some of those people that clearly were already successful. But the fact that now that they've had this collaboration because of that Rittenhouse trial, now they've all been able to build off each other.
A little bit something about their character. I just don't respect disloyalty. I just don't.
Is it disloyal to have an honest opinion about a case that's a legal case on the internet? I don't know if it's disloyal. Is there anyone out there just shitting on Nick versus maybe making fun of you for your take, Robert? Because your take is pretty wild to me. But again, it's just because you're coming from strictly a defense lawyer defense lawyer look on this and how you would defend a client. And look, if I was in trouble, I might call Robert Barnes because he'll defend me from things that are maybe indefensible and maybe some things that try to him tearing again with the warrant. It's the sum of all the things that probably made the warrant reasonable. It's not each individual thing on its own in a vacuum. The sum of these 17 things that were concerns in the warrant probably made it a legal warrant. I don't think I'm not sure what judge they went to. They didn't go to I know they, oh, by the way, there's also news on this front where the judge for the case in this criminal case was also the same judge in Rekieta's lawsuit against Montegraph. There's if you don't know who that is, Montegraph is suing Rekieta for defamation for whatever, blah blah blah, and the judge in that case was assigned to this criminal case too. They requested yesterday to have a different judge. That has been granted, but there's a double-edged sword. We'll get to it.
But I figured the response would be that there would be
Viva blew up because of Barnes way before Rittenhouse. Okay, I didn't. I've been, maybe it's just because I've been watching Viva far longer than Barnes. So, and he's already had about 300,000 followers when I started watching him long before Rittenhouse. But maybe Barnes was bigger. I didn't follow Barnes. I found Barnes through Rekieta. So just FYI.
That the grift would come unmasked, that who these people really are, that, they're there in the 1930s.
Oh, now, wait a minute, whoa. Here's the part, though. Here's the part that amazes me. Okay? This is the part. Get ready. Just wait for it.
Would be that the grift would come unmasked, that who these people really are, that, they're there in the 1930s. They're turning you in if you're the Jewish neighbor in Germany. That when the Klan's putting on the hoods and they're saying, let's go lynch so-and-so, they're leaving the door to join them.
Are you fucking kidding me? If you analyze this in any other way that Barnes is doing with total loyalty to Nick, you are like the Nazis. You are like the KKK. You're that disloyal to your neighbor. First of all, legal and yes, he did, Zed. Yes, he did. Just compared to a fucking pogrom. Holy shit. Holy shit. And then he's having this back and forth legal mindset, and you get this kind of craziness. And I liked Barnes before this, but listen to this.
Well, we'll deal with it with legal mindset. If you come after me and libel me repeatedly.
Now, what he's apparently the libel is they're talking about whether or not Barnes has a contract with Rumble and that back and forth. And he's saying you're libeling me for saying that, you might have a contract with Rumble where you can't disparage other Rumble people with contracts or whatever. I don't know. We figured out that Viva does have a contract with Rumble. Barnes doesn't, whatever. It's not, I don't know how you'd make it libel. But I am laughing that Barnes is blocking everybody instead. Here's the thing. If I'm pissed off at people and people are coming at me, I'm not going to block them because I want to know exactly what they're saying. But apparently, because when you block somebody, you can't really follow them either unless you do it anonymously, whatever. But anyway, listen to this.
As well as flood my chats and the people that are part of our community with what's known as toxic Twitter.
Oh, by the way, look. As I have stayed out of this completely up until now, I just haven't talked about it much. And I look on the internet, and I look at, like, I'll go watch Steel Toe Morning Show. I'll watch these guys. I'll watch a bunch of other people. You know, there's people on the internet that are going to troll anyone who talks about anything. Like, if you have something that you're talking about and someone doesn't agree with it, on it, they might flood your comments with things that disagree with you. And there's a lot of people who are passionate about Nick Rekieta. Both people who are fans of his or followers of his or who are supporters of his. I'm a supporter. I am a Locals member on Nick Rekieta. I regularly go into the Locals live chats and whatnot. But the idea that there are people out there who will just say mean things and disagree with you on the internet does not mean that some other lawyer is coming over there to tell you that from their instructions. It's like when someone says, "Well, Donald Trump sent all his trolls after me on the internet, and I just did it." No, there's plenty of people who'll just do it on their own. and unfortunately, Rekieta has some enemies too out there, which is unfortunate. I think Nick's a good guy, but he needs to fix his shit right now.
Which is what he was doing.
Listen to this.
You know, maybe I'll take the time to ask and research why it is.
Okay, so by Legal Mindset lives in Thailand because he does work for some company out there, and he's been whatever he does out there.
Is you suddenly left the state of Florida and went to Southeast Asia as a single man. And maybe when I do, I'll find that you chose the town in Thailand most infamous for one thing. You know what that thing it's most infamous for? The town Legal Mindset chose to leave Florida for, to live in Thailand and to legally provide services to other, let's say, similarly situated individuals, is a town world famous for which documentaries have been made for child prostitution. That's where he chose to live. I wonder if that's a coincidence.
So
what motivated that? But if these people are going to, do this kind of thing, well,
And look at Viva with his shit-eating grin.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm flabbergasted that Barnes would do this. I just am. And look, I don't. So he's accusing one of the other guy of being a pedophile, basically. Yeah. I think Barnes is really taking all of this incredibly personally when the other lawyers on the internet that are talking about this, the people are friends, and not just the lawyers. You can go Yellow Flash, you can go to that Star Wars girl, whatever her name is. The Umbrella guy, all these people who talk about this kind of stuff on the internet, and all have a relationship with Nick through some of the streams that he did on the Amber Heard trial, on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. All of them have opinions. They're all internet people. They're all YouTube people. They talk about shit that's happening in the world, and they're going to have fucking opinions on it. And you're out here claiming that they're Nazis or KKK or pedophiles, Barnes, just because they are disagreeing with you and maybe thinking that Rekieta needs to get his shit together, which Nick does need to get his shit together. I hope he comes out some good comes out of this for him. I'd love to see the phoenix rising from the ashes because generally Nick's a very good guy. Made some weird choices though, and there's some skeletons in there that I didn't know about. But I'm rooting for Nick. But I'm not rooting for him so much that I'm going to excuse anything that he does. He needs to fix his shit. And I'm not saying that from a judgmental standpoint. I'm just saying it from a person who cares about what happens to that man. And Barnes needs to snap out of it. I'm pretty sure by this afternoon someone will tell Robert Barnes that I talked about him, and I'll be blocked too. Oh, well. Oh, fucking well. Now, let's see. I'm going to finish up here with just there was some other, did I get the breaking news on this? Here it is. So I mentioned earlier that, here it is, Nick and Kayla Rekieta have filed a motion to remove Jennifer Fisher as the judge for his criminal case. Fisher currently presides as the judge for his defamation case. Shortly before his arrest for drugs and child neglect, he trashed a ruling of hers that did not go his way on the internet, on a show. And now this is new. The motion was granted. As per Minnesota law, you are allowed to request a different judge within 7 days of learning their identity if no hearing has happened yet. So that has been granted. Now, here's the problem. The new judge has already been assigned. His name is Judge Stephen Wenzel. Well, I would have some concerns if I were Nick right now. Follow-up, the new judge for Nick and Kayla Rekieta, Stephen Wenzel, appears to be very tough on drug crime. So, for example, they show some cases that Mr. Wenzel has been, or Judge Wenzel has been the main dude on. A Wilmer man was sentenced this week to no more than 8 years in prison for selling methamphetamine. And now, granted, that's selling. Sergio Ramos, 46, pleaded guilty to first-degree drug sale and was sentenced to Tuesday in Candiota County District Court to 98 months in prison. Judge Stephen Wenzel ordered fines and fees totaling $140, and Ramos was given credit for 180 days already served. So that's one case. In another case, a 44-year-old Wilmer woman was sentenced to 85 months in prison for drug possession after authorities seized more than 100 grams of methamphetamine and more than 200 grams of marijuana in a residence. Dolores Honorata of Wilmer pleaded guilty in August to one count of first-degree drug possession. She also pleaded guilty to third-degree drug sale in a separate case. So, again, that has to do with selling it, so maybe that's part of it. She was sentenced in October in Candiota County District Court. A 33-month prison sentence to be served concurrently was ordered for the drug sale conviction. Judge Stephen Wenzel gave her credit for 187 days. That's another case. Here's another case. An Alexandria man was sentenced Wednesday in Candiota County District Court to 71 months in prison in accordance with the plea agreement that dismissed a slew of drug and firearm-related charges in multiple cases. Again, there's a firearm charge here, too, so that's interesting. That's relevant. Charles Jacob Whitcup Jr., 50, pleaded guilty Wednesday, felony third-degree drug possession in one case and felony fifth-degree drug possession in another. A felony firearm possession charge and multiple other felony drug possession charges were among several dismissed in the case against Whitcup as part of the plea agreement. 8th Judicial Judge Stephen Wenzel sentenced Whitcup to 71 months related to a case in which law enforcement found more than 64 grams of methamphetamine during a May 2021 search at his New London residence. So this is not looking good because that's not a distribution charge. That's just a possession. But again, that's a lot of methamphetamine. And finally, this fourth one, 8th Judicial District Judge Stephen Wenzel sentenced Litzau to 33 months in prison for both felony drug sale and felony arson case. Okay, so that, again, that's distribution. But the one case was not distribution. It was just possession. Now, Minnesota, though, look, in some sense, we're known for not being tough on criminals, and especially this would be a first-time offense. This would be no other priors. I don't know anything about those other 4 cases that those guys mentioned. Obviously, 3 of those were distribution, and there's no distribution in this case that we know of, although there's people are bringing up streams where Nick says things that are questionable to that. So I don't know. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to believe that till I see it. But look, no matter what your opinions are on cases like this, and if there are people you know and other people are disagreeing with you, don't be Robert Barnes. Don't go around blocking everybody with different opinions. Don't start accusing people of shit like being Nazi. Look, Robert Barnes is a conservative, right? He's right wing. Oh, he sounds like a fucking he sounds like a woke lefty with his fucking accusing people of being Nazis and KKK. Don't be Robert Barnes. Robert Barnes, I don't think you'll ever see this, but if you do, you get your shit together too and act like a man. Stop being a dick. That's it. I got to go. I'll drop all these links in the chat like I always do and in the description. Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. An abrupt ending, but I realized the time and I'm super late. So thank you. Hit the like button, share the stream, and so on and so forth. I got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Look at some snow, maybe for the last time. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.